Why you feel lonely in a crowded room, the surprising science of the connection gap, and how to find your tribe without changing who you are. Welcome to Catsychology channel. Today, we are diving deep into a silent epidemic that touches almost every soul in the modern era. Have you ever stood in the middle of a bustling party, surrounded by laughter and music, and felt an inexplicable hollow ache in your chest? Or perhaps you have scrolled through hundreds of digital friends, only to realize there is no one you can call at 3 in the morning when the world feels too heavy. Today, we explore the loneliness trap, why connection feels harder than ever, and it's not your fault. Imagine a cat in a house, sitting behind a glass window. He sees the birds, he sees the other cats in the garden, and he feels the instinctual urge to pounce and play. But the glass is there. It is transparent, making him believe he is part of the world, yet it is solid enough to prevent any real touch. Modern life is that glass window. We are more visible to each other than ever before, through the glowing screens in our pockets. Yet we are fundamentally shielded from the raw, authentic friction of true human presence. This sensation is not a personal failure of your personality, it's a biological mismatch. Dr. John Cacioppo, a pioneer in the field of social neuroscience, explains this beautifully in his seminal book, Loneliness, Human Nature and the Need for Social Connection. He argues that loneliness is not just a feeling, it's a biological warning signal, much like hunger or thirst. It's your body telling you that your social body is malnourished. When you feel lonely, your brain enters a state of hypervigilance, looking for threats, because for our ancestors, being alone meant being vulnerable to predators. Let us look at a real-life scenario that many of you will find painfully familiar. Consider Sarah, a 30-year-old marketing executive. Sarah has 3,000 followers on Instagram. She attends networking events weekly, and her calendar is packed with coffee chats. On paper, Sarah is the definition of connected. Yet, Sarah spends her Sunday evenings eating dinner alone, feeling a profound sense of being unseen. Every interaction she has is transactional or performative. She's playing a character of a successful woman, and because people are connecting with the character and not the human, her soul remains hungry. Sarah's struggle highlights the difference between social contact and social connection. The Catsychology concept we must master here is the intimacy gap. This occurs when our level of social interaction does not match our internal need for vulnerability. We are living in a high-frequency, low-depth society. We have many weak ties, people we know vaguely, but very few strong ties, people who know our deepest fears and greatest shames. This imbalance creates a cognitive dissonance where the brain is exhausted by the sheer volume of faces it sees, but the heart remains starved because none of those faces truly know us. It's like drinking salt water. The more you consume, the thirstier you become. To begin breaking this trap, we need an actionable reframe. Instead of seeking more friends, we must seek higher stakes interactions. This means moving from safe talk to brave talk. Safe talk is the weather, the news, or work. Brave talk is admitting you're struggling with a project or sharing a dream you've never told anyone. You don't need 20 people to do this with. You only need 1 or 2. By intentionally introducing a small amount of vulnerability into a conversation, you test the waters. If the other person meets you there, the glass window begins to crack and real connection flows through. The journey out of the loneliness trap requires us to understand a second, more insidious layer, the digital reflection paradox. We're constantly looking at the curated highlights of others, which forces our brains to compare our internal, behind-the-scenes footage with their red carpet moments. This creates a psychological state known as social snacking. Just as eating a candy bar gives you a temporary energy spike but leaves you nutritionally empty, scrolling through social media feeds gives you a temporary hit of social dopamine without the actual protein of connection. As the eminent psychologist Dr. Erich Fromm wrote in his masterpiece, The Art of Loving, Love is not a sentiment which can be easily indulged in by anyone, regardless of the level of maturity reached by him. It is an active power which resides in the soul. Fromm's insight is crucial because it reminds us that connection is a skill we must practice, not a luck-based event that happens to us. If we treat connection as a passive experience, we will always feel like victims of our circumstances. But if we see it as an active power, we regain our agency. Think of our cat mascot again. If a cat wants attention, he does not sit in the corner and hope you notice his internal state. He walks over, he rubs against your leg, and he purrs. He initiates the friction. He does not care if he looks cool or productive, he simply expresses a need. We, as humans, have been socialized to hide our needs behind a mask of self-sufficiency. We tell ourselves that needing people is a sign of weakness, when in reality, it is the highest form of biological intelligence. To be human is to be interdependent. Consider the real-life case of David, a retired engineer who moved to a new city. For 2 years, David felt like a ghost. He went to the library, the grocery store, and the park, but no one spoke to his soul. He was trapped in the loneliness of the crowd. One day, instead of just nodding to the librarian, David asked a small, specific question. "I noticed you always have a different book on your desk. What is the one story that changed your life?" That single moment of genuine curiosity broke the cycle. The librarian shared a story about her grandmother, David shared a memory of his father, and suddenly 2 ghosts became 2 humans. The trap was not the city, the trap was the silence. This leads us to an essential psychological reframe, the spotlight effect. Most of us are so worried about how we are being perceived, our hair, our words, our social status, that we forget everyone else is doing the exact same thing. Everyone is the protagonist of their own movie, and they are terrified of being judged. When you take the first step to be vulnerable or curious, you aren't just helping yourself. You are providing psychological oxygen to the other person. You are giving them permission to stop performing and start being. To practically apply this, try the 3-question rule in your next interaction. Instead of the standard "how are you" or "what do you do," ask questions that target the emotional undercurrent. Ask, "What has been the most surprising part of your week?" Or "What is a project that is actually making you feel excited right now?" These questions bypass the superficial script and invite the other person into a deeper level of reality. This is how you find your tribe, not by casting a wide net, but by deepening the holes you are already digging. As we wrap up today's exploration, remember that your feeling of isolation is not a defect. It is a sign that you are designed for something more profound than what the modern world currently offers. You are a tribal creature living in a post-tribal world. The ache you feel is your humanity calling you home. By choosing brave talk over safe talk, and by seeing connection as an active power rather than a passive wish, you can melt the glass window that stands between you and the warmth of the world. If this perspective resonated with you, please subscribe to the Catsychology channel and join our community of deep thinkers. We would love to hear from you in the comments. What is one brave conversation you have been avoiding, and how can you take the first small step towards it today? Like this video if it helped you feel a little less alone, and share it with someone who might need to hear that it is not their fault. Thank you for watching, and remember, you are seen, you are heard, and you are never truly alone in your search for meaning.